It is that time for Mr. Tat. That is my response to a tweet. Yes, my response to a tweet. And today's tweet says, Phil, glad to see struggle in Missouri. Glad to see struggling blacks finally get a voice in Missouri. Wow. Man, if what was happening wasn't so serious, I would just laugh all day long. Struggling blacks. Wow. Hey, here's my response. Struggling blacks are finally getting a voice. Wow. When I hear struggling blacks, I think of segregation. I think of dogs attacking them and water hoses and things of this nature. I think of that when I hear struggling blacks. I also, when I hear struggling blacks, I hear more recently just families can't eat. Wow, struggling blacks. That's funny. And finally getting a voice. Well, check this out. Let me go here. These kids are every bit of 20 years old. 22 at best. If you go back 20 years, 95. Where is this struggling black thing at in 1995? Blacks got a voice. They're on the music. Screw the police, gangster rap. I mean, they're doing what they want. Their pants is sagging. They doing what they want. They still got to go to work just like anybody else. But 20 years ago, was the unemployment rate in the black community as high as it is now? These kids were born 1995. Where is the struggle? Where's this institutional racism thing happening in 1995? If anything, I can highlight how black on black crime, or, I don't really like using that term, but I can highlight black on black crime was still doing this thing in 1995. Let's say that they were 5 years old when they start formulating sentences real well. I'm talking about these struggling blacks that's in Missouri that finally found their voice. They're 5 yeyears old. It's 2000. Where's this institutional racism thing happening? I'm just trying to figure this thing out because these struggling blacks finally got a voice. They were voicing things back then. I don't understand this struggling black thing. Okay, let's say they're 10 years old. It's 2005. Housing is good. Economics is good. The unemployment rate in the black community is down. Parents got jobs. Where is this struggling black voice thing happening right now? See, what you're witnessing in Missouri is this. You're witnessing the liberal sleeper cell. This is another one of those liberal sleeper cells that has been enacted. Building up to this chaotic type thing to where only liberals can solve it. Because liberals are the ones who created it. If you look, I'm telling you, the telltale sign is just look at their list of demands. Their list of demands shows you that these kids have no clue what they're talking about. They're implementing the indoctrinating process or the things that they were indoctrinated to say. Taking it back to 1969, they want whatever the black collegiate thing was happening in 1969. These kids weren't even began to be thought of. Their parents might have just been born then. They're making an argument for their grandparents, the age range of their grandparents. If these people feel like they have some kind of institutional racism in this college, and they have to replace the leaders. Request number one, all that was an ability to humiliate the president of the college. That's all number one said, is we want you to humiliate yourself. And they're using the indoctrinated stuff of their professors, their old professors. You're looking at with these young black kids that don't know their butt from a hole in the ground. You're looking at basically the Crispus Attucks of the year 2015. They were positioned to be the blacks to run out there in the line of fire for the white people that has grievances that go way back all the way to the 60s. The liberals, think about it. The people that are the directors at this school, they are in place by a liberal Democrat governor. Their congressmen and senators are liberals. You look at everything that's happening. So if this thing is systematic and it's institutional, liberals created it. And so all of their grievances need to be directed at liberals. But now here we are. Why are they the liberal sleeper cells? Because liberals created them so that they can bring out these chaotic things and see how far they can go. You're looking at test tube babies out here protesting. You're looking at incubator babies. You're looking at eggs hatching and try to see how much they can devour. You're looking at liberal little created Jurassic Park T-Rexes. And they're being unleashed to see what they can devour and see how far they can go in the jungles of America. That's what you're seeing in Missouri. You should see borderline racketeering charges for how they coached in the football team, the money maker. See, they're test driving a lot of things, people. Black Lives Matter, you notice you haven't heard about them. They have ran their course as far as the test drive is concerned. Now you're seeing the collegiate institutions, all of the institutions that liberals control, you're starting to see them test drive what they have been making over the last 50, 60 years. Liberals were like mad scientists. And they're using their number one most abused and used, misused, and confused segments of our society. The African Americans. Think about it. One of their requests said, you have to admit your white privilege. Wow. It was so-called highfalutin white people that gave him the position. See, by them saying that you have to admit your white privilege, it gets white people thinking black people are the problem. No, black people got a problem, but they're not the problem. It's liberalism. And that's what you're watching take place. And you're just seeing how far they can strong arm people to get their way. How far can they get somebody to humiliate themselves? Their list of demands is ludicrous. It makes no sense. Those list of demands worked better back in the 60s, not the year 2015. This is what's happening in Missouri. Barack Obama's sole, and I'm convinced of this, his whole reason for becoming the president is so they can put the sleeper cells that they've been creating with the black card into fruition, into full-blown fruition. Because trust me, when this anarchy and this chaos starts to take place, the black card is going to be the cover-up. The black card is going to be the scapegoat. And then everybody's going to be chomping at the bit to do what? Legally enslave the black people that's running out here just acting so ignorant. Yeah, you want to say they finally found a voice. These guys are 20 years old. What voice did they find of a struggle? What struggle do they have? Ramen noodles, chicken, beef, or shrimp. What struggle do they have? All of these things that liberals created, they might be struggling because they got to eat peanuts or something, and they might have allergies or something like that. Claritin Clear. I mean, what? They want safe zones. Our kids, the struggle we have with ISIS and all these things coming onto our nation, our best and our brightest are complaining for a safe zone to where they don't have to hear any kind of adversarial point of view. What about this one before I get out of here? What about this one? They want more diversity in the college. Ask them, do they mean diversity of having a conservative point of view, maybe some conservative black professors coming on their college? Why don't you ask them and see if that's what they meant? I guarantee you they'll say no, but they want diversity. Hey, I'm Phil Williams. Struggle my behind. Struggle my black behind. That's my response. That's my response to a tweet on the Phil Williams Show.